Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the final round of the MV Simsports GT Sprint Series Europe, powered by Triple Stint. We are here at Daytona International Speedway for round 6 out of 6 for the season. My name is Jarvis Cord. I'm your commentator here today. Julia Marquez is our production, and Aintan Benesra is our executive producer here at HyPrix Studios. And Daytona, a historic, world-known racetrack here at Florida, opened in February 2022, 1959, all asphalt, 12 turns around this glorious racetrack. And as mentioned, it is the final round of the season, 1 hour around Daytona, powered by Triple Stint. mvsimsports.com. There you can see all the news, the standings. You can join a Discord server and also keep an eye out for future series coming after this season finishes. And also Instagram, X, Facebook at mvsimsports is your handle. Make sure to follow and like the post on all the socials. MV Simsports and the GT Sprint Series is brought to you by SimSwag Technologies, Triple Stint, Coach Dave Academy, SimGrid, Heather's Jewelry Hut, and Rogue Energy. And this is what the weather looks like for the race. Hotter than usual, 82 degrees Fahrenheit, is partly cloudy with no chance of rain and 6 to 11 mile per hour winds southeast. And these are our GT3 Pro standings. Philip Ansel taking the crown with 143 points ahead of Mertz Menderes, Alberto Alvarez in third, Nicholas Zint, Josh Merrin, Simeli Mazzi, Logan Taylor, Ramon Serra, Jason Krinkus, and Juan Rodriguez round off your top 10 in GT3 Pro. And also Philip Ansel has won the SimSwag Cup as well, so he will be getting the extra prizes for entering into that cup as well. And this is our GT3 Silver Championship standings. Angel Mora, 112 points ahead of John Cannon with 86, Jaden Innes in 3rd, Tiana Blossom, Rui Guerrero, Jordi Carrera, João Lopez, and Melvin Hono are your top 8. And this is GT3 AM. Augusto Mason with 116 points ahead of Daniel Cabral, Romario Marquez, and Carlos Freitas. And this is what the weather looks like for qualifying. 81 degrees Fahrenheit, cloudy, 10 mile per hour winds, pretty stable conditions, very similar to the race. At the moment, qualifying is currently happening. And as we see now, it's currently Mertz Menderes for provisional pole position, but Philip Ansel will want to make that himself instead as he comes across the banking through the start-finish line. Philip Ansel crosses the line. No, wait, this is the other banking. We're heading down into towards, I believe it is the bus stop chicane. Mertz Menderes looking to improve out, and that is Philip Ansel. Wait, what? Okay. Philip Ansel does. Oh, Mertz Menderes comes across the line. They've got very similar cars. Mertz Menderes, 2 tenths ahead of Taylor, doesn't improve on that lap. Angel Mora, the first one to come across the line next, and the Ferrari goes up into 6th place and provisional pole position in GT3 Silver. Ramon Serra in 5th place, stays in 5th. John Cannon, what can he do? He propels himself up into 7th. Jordi Carrera goes up into 5th. Alberto Alvarez, can he get ahead of Taylor and Menderes? No. Ogos Kuz, in the Ferrari. That's a new name that we have here for the season, for the final round of the season. Kuz, looking good so far. Fastest in Sector 1. Hasn't set a lap time so far, but Kuz comes across the line. And he doesn't... He has invalidated somewhere. Max Mosby across the line, goes up into provisional pole position ahead of Menderes by 1/10 of a second. Rui Guerrero up into 7th. As we look at Logan Taylor, 3rd place so far, 2/10 away from Mert Menderes. What can he do in the McLaren? Menderes will not improve. Philip Ansel hasn't set a lap time so far in this qualifying session. He's currently on the board, unclassified. And looks like he'll be going again. We're watching Tiana Blossom now, currently in 10th place. Overall, 5th place in GT3 Silver. And they go up into 8th place. Freitas goes on to pole position in GT3 AM, 11th place overall. Mert Menderes, fastest 4th sector, will come across the line. Can he propel himself ahead of Mosby? Mert Menderes across the line. And he stays in 2nd. We're watching Ramon Serra now as he slows to a halt. Augusto Mason comes across the line. Augusto Mason stays in 12th. Jordi Carrera goes up into 4th ahead of Alvarez and Serra. Alvarez now goes up ahead onto provisional pole. John Cannon, 4 thousandths away from Rui Guerrero. Ogars Kuz will set his first lap of the session. Kuz to the Ferrari across the line. And what will it be for the GT3 Silver driver? It will still not be a lap time on the board. Logan Taylor hasn't improved in 3 out of the 4 sectors so far. Only a personal best in the 4th out of 4. So Logan Taylor across the line, currently 2/10 away from Mert Menderes. And will still stay in 4th place. Philip Ansel comes across the line. He still hasn't got a lap time on the board yet. Carlos Freitas, 11th place in the Mercedes, won in last week's race as well in Detroit. So Freitas with a bit of momentum heading into the final round of the season. His 2nd race as well. Freitas stays in 11th place. Oh dear. Yep. Well, Ansel was taken to the skies. I mean, the airport's not too far away from here. But yeah. Ansel will be looks like he will be starting, if he doesn't have enough laps on the board, down the pack, probably between 14th and 17th. Ogars Cruz still hasn't got a lap time on the board. So does Jaden Innes, who hasn't got a lap time, and Massey also not having a lap time on the board. Ogars Kuz now will come across the banking and the start-finish line. Will he be able to set a lap time in this qualifying session? And yes, it will. He will do, and he goes up into 7th place, 2nd place in GT3 Silver, and he's going to be happy that the one and only lap time that he set in qualifying is enough to be place himself just ahead of Rui Guerrero. 19 thousandths ahead of Rui Guerrero, 23 thousandths ahead of Cannon. It's close between 7th and 10th place, minor margins. And well, if qualifying between GT3 Silver's that close, I mean, you've also got Carrera, who's taken his storm here and shown his pace out in this session as well. Taking the Ferrari up into 5th overall, 5 thousandths away from Logan Taylor. But it will be Alvarez on pole position ahead of Mosby, Menderes in 3rd, Taylor in 4th. That's your GT3 Pro. The drivers who haven't set lap times in qualifying are Innes, Ansel, and Mazzy. So qualifying for all of the drivers is practically over, just waiting for the clock to count down, and then we'll get into gridding for the final round of the season, a 1 hour race that the drivers will have to contend with. And it's going to be a cracker. Daytona full of challenges, that bus stop ever so unforgiving. And we did see Philip Ansell take to the skies in qualifying. Have a bit of momentum here and there. But I'm sure Ansell, after winning the championship, as mentioned, has well, taken it easy with this one. And HyPrix Studios broadcasting, graphic design, and photography. Twitter, Instagram at HyPrix, hyphen Prix. Make sure to follow us and also our future endeavors if you want to catch a few of the streams that will come in later dates. Please do make sure to both subscribe and like the live stream if you haven't already, and also check our socials. And these are the prizes for for the MV Simsports GT Sprint Series. Trophies for first, second, and third in Pro Silver and AM. SimSwag Cup, if you do enter it, there is an entry fee, and you do get those prizes that you see listed there. Philip Ansell winning that one, so he's got a trophy, triple stint gloves, and MV Simsports sticker as well, and also P2 and P3 for the SimSwag Cup will also get it. As the clock counts down for qualifying to be over, all the drivers have set their laps, and it's looking very overcast in qualifying. Let's see how the race is. We did see it. It's a bit of cloud cover here and there, but no chance of rain. 6 to 11 mile per hour winds, southeast. So it's going to be relatively stable and normal conditions for everyone out there. But these are our results for qualifying. Qualifying results, it was Alberto Alvarez on pole ahead of Matt Mosby by 32 thousandths of a second. Mert Menderes in third, Logan Taylor in fourth, Jordi Carrera in fifth, Ramon Serra in sixth. Ogars Kuz for his debut in the last round of the season ends up in seventh overall. Rui Guerrero in eighth, John Cannon in ninth, Tiana Blossom rounds off the top 10 overall. Below the top 10, it's looking like it will be Angel Mora, Carlos Freitas, Augusto Mason, Joseph Kronk, and that was all the times that were set. Philip Ansell, Simone Mazzi, and Jaden Innes didn't set lap times in qualifying, so they'll be starting at the back of the grid for this 1 hour race. And Simone Mazzi, as I've been told now, will be starting from pit lane. And, well, between the qualifying and the race, there is a 5-minute warm-up to do what drivers want to do, either go out onto the track, take a bit of a break, change setups. But yes, as mentioned, Philip Ansell is our GT3 Pro champion. Well done to Philip Ansell. He took the championship by storm, winning the majority of the rounds of the season, and you can't say that it's undeserved for Philip Ansell taking the championship for GT Sprint Series in the Pro class. So, sunny skies out here in Daytona as we're watching John Cannon in this 1 out of 2 Porsches in this event. The other one driven by Joseph Kronk, taking to the track. And, well, it's and this is what our championship standings look for silver at the moment. It's Angel Mora in first place, ahead of John Cannon and Jaden Innes. 112, 86.5 and 79.5 respectively. Now, what John Cannon needs is to hope that Angel Mora doesn't have a great race at all. He's got to be up there, and Angel Mora has got to be very, very low, and perhaps even hoping the worst for Angel Mora. If let's be honest here, he's going to need that, because there's a gap of, I believe it is 26, 27 points. It's quite... Angamora hasn't won the championship just yet. All he needs to do is finish, and he's probably got it. And also Jaden Innes slightly has a less of a chance as well. But keep it as a reminder, Jaden Innes did join GT3 Silver after being promoted from GT3 AM. So he hasn't been contending for GT3 Silver Championship at all, but he just finds himself in this championship now, just due to being promoted. It's... We this keep an eye on this, because this graphic will pop up every so often with the live points and live positions. Let's see where GT3 Silver will hang towards the end of this 60-minute race. But for now, it's Angel Mora. The championship is in his hands. All he has to do is not fumble it. That's the main thing. And this is for GT3 Amateur, GT3 AM. It's Augusta Mason with 116 points ahead of Daniel Cabral. And, well, even more so, that it's between teammates, I believe, between Mason and Cabral. It's looking very, very likely that Mason will take it if he does finish this race. And also, and Cabral's not here anyway, from what I've been told. Yeah, he's not on the leaderboard at all. So if Augusta Mason finishes this race, he'll be the championship winner in GT3 AM. So let's see how he does as well. But it's not like he has any competition around him except for maybe Kronk and Freitas. So 30 seconds until GT3, the warm-up is over. These 5 minutes are over. We're watching Matt Mosby, qualified in 2nd place. Mosby has shown great pace throughout this entire season, but has been unlucky in a couple of rounds here and there. Sebring comes into mind. In round 2 it was. So he does have decent pace out there. He's just got to have luck with him. Ramon Serra in the Ferrari, looking to try to finish off this season with a decent result. Finds himself in, I believe, 8th place overall in qualifying. I might be wrong with that. And Ogas Kuz with his debut in the final round. But yeah, warm-up is over, and the gridding process will take place for round 6 out of 6 for the GT Sprint Series. It's been a pleasure, like being here as a commentator, and also on behalf of HyPrix Studios. We've been elated to broadcast this for all of you, being part of MV Simsports as well. Oh, sorry, broadcasting on behalf of MV Simsports as well. So it's been absolutely amazing, but we do have a 60-minute race awaiting for us, and it's looking like either sunrise or sunset at the start of this race. Drivers being lined up just before the bus stop. So a short formation lap, as always. And this is what the weather looks like at the moment. It's 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 84 degrees track temperature, 7 mile per hour winds, and it's also partly cloudy. Are we going to see some... Is it starting at sunrise or sunset? I'm not too sure. But regardless, we're getting ready now. Everyone, it looks like one driver hasn't made it to the grid, and it is Logan Taylor, starting from the pit lane. As a reminder, the gridding process in the MV Simsports GT Sprint Series is 1 minute long, so it's a very short turnaround between warm-up being finished and the start of the formation lap. And Logan Taylor has been caught out here. He starts in 16th in the pit lane. He qualified in 4th. That's going to be gutting for him. So he's going to have to climb all the way from the back to try to salvage this 60-minute race. But it's a long race. We'll see exactly what happens. It'll be Alberto Alvarez on your right-hand side of the screen, Matt Mosby on your left, Mert Menderes in the sole car in the 2nd row. And then it's Ramon Serra, Carrera, both teammates, even if different classes. But It's a 2x8 formation as we head across the start-finish line. The safety car pulls into the pits. Alberto Alvarez on the inside line into turn 1. When does he go? When does the green flags take place? And it's green flags taking underway, and Matt Mosby has been caught out here at the start of this race. He's getting swallowed up by every single car behind him. But it's Alberto Alvarez, and it's contact into the first corner between, I believe, one of the Ferraris. Oh dear, it's utter chaos at the start of this race. And turn 1, about 5 cars have had incidents at the start here. Menderes continues on, but in the background, yeah, Jaden Innes in 9th place. And that is Logan Taylor coming out of the pits. Probably lucky to not be involved in all of that carnage at turn 1. But yes, Alvarez ahead of Mosby, who, despite being swallowed up at the start, has found himself back up into 2nd. Mertz Menderes in 3rd. Carrera, Mora, 1st and 2nd place in GT3 Silver, and they're looking a little bit racy. Ansel has found himself from, I believe it was 14th, up into 6th place. He had an amazing start out of nowhere, but he does have damage at the front of his car. Looking to the inside of the entry of the banking, and there he goes. He goes up into 5th place. Despite not qualifying, he's up into the top 5 overall. Alvarez, it was a relatively calm start, but on the inside line where Alvarez was defending, it was all single file, and basically the concertina effect, it happens, and then one driver behind brakes later, and they just career into the rear of the car in front. It's painful, to say the least. And well, drivers such as Guerrero and Kus and Ramon Serra all faring the worst of it. Speaking of Ramon Serra, he's going around the outside of Augusto Mason and the banking. Not too much of a fight from Augusto Mason, allows the pass. Now we'll look at Jaden Innes versus Freitas. Freitas finds himself 8th overall. This isn't his fight. They're in 2 different classes, classified points differently. And Jaden Innes looking to go around the outside at turn 1. The Mercedes keeps onto the inside, brakes later, and is still ahead, although breaking a little bit too deep. Not as deep, though, as Angel Mora. Angel Mora now dropping 2 places, and John Cannon gets past as well. It's between John Cannon and Angel Mora for the championship in GT3 Silver, and they're right next to each other out on track. Now, even in this position of where Angel Mora is, even if John Cannon overtakes Angel Mora would take the championship anyway. Angel Mora is just going to... Oh, as you can see, Logan Taylor side by side with Kus, and hanging onto the back now. It's very risky going through side by side in that kink. The GT3s just have enough downforce to go almost flat out through there, but one has to yield if you do go side by side. Speaking of side by side, Jaden Innes taking to the high line to try to get ahead of Freitas. Freitas, does he continue to fight this? We do have Mora and John Cannon waiting in the wings. It's 4 cars in the same picture as we head into the bus stop chicane. Jaden Innes gets ahead of Freitas, and now Mora is looking for the overtake on the Mercedes as well. John Cannon waiting in the wings, and John Cannon looks to be having the run against Mora. Through the banking. Cannon on the high line, but cuts back into the slipstream. Does he go for a move into turn 1? Does he go around the outside? Looks to be a move into turn 1 for John Cannon, but Mora has the advantage of the inside line. Car positioned. Porsche brakes. Oh no! Oh no! Angel Mora! And he's sent spinning, and he doesn't make contact with the wall. Luckily, he's getting stopped in time. If a DNF happened to Angel Mora, that would have put some sort of jeopardy into his championship fight, but he does continue on, albeit in 15th overall. Now, we do have Ansel and Carrera. Ansel 3.4 seconds behind Menderes, as we see a fight between Massey and Mason. Massey getting onto the curb on the inside of the left kink and getting ahead of Mason. Massey starting from the pit lane finds himself 11th overall. Bit of a scare for Angel Mora. A rear bias lock, it looks like, on the entry, as we see Logan Taylor ahead of Koos. Now in the top three, it's getting close. Alvarez, Mosby, and Menderes, all within 5/10 and 3/10 of each other. And Menderes looking racy to try to get ahead of Max Mosby. Heading into... by the way, it's only been about 5 minutes into this race, and we've had quite a fair amount of fights in this race. Taylor in 14th place now. He's dropped back behind Koos. Taylor losing out of position, having probably a mistake out of the bus stop to cause that mistake, but looking to fight back into turn one. The slipstream versus the Ferrari. The McLaren super speedy in a straight line, even with the right setup. And, well, Logan Taylor taking to the outside. Will Koos defend this on the inside? Yes, he is. Braking a whole lot later and covers off and shuts the door for a move around the outside. And Logan Taylor will have to wait. Logan Taylor trying to recover from not starting this race at all. A 1 minute countdown from warm-up to the race, and Logan Taylor missed it, so he started in the pit lane. Qualified fourth, didn't end up in fourth on the grid. It's quite unfortunate. Logan Taylor down the inside for a swift move. Will Koos fight this? Can't do. Koos tries to go for the switchback, but Logan Taylor slows the car down at the apex and covers it off. Logan Taylor up into 13th. Now, Cannon is at the back of Freitas. We've got a fight at the top three as well. There's lots of fights going on as we go on board with Ögaz Koos. The Turkey driver looking for a move ahead of Taylor, but Cannon also trying to get ahead of Freitas. Ramon Serra also joining into the fight as well. I don't think Ögaz Koos will be fighting this battle, but just up ahead, Serra getting close to Cannon as we head through the banking. It's 3 cars in 3 different license classes. Freitas goes onto the high line, lets Cannon through. Ramon Serra trying to figure out any possible way to get past the Silver and Am drivers. Serra getting ahead of Freitas just about. Will Serra go to the inside at turn 1? No, Cannon still ahead in 8th place. Cannon getting ahead of Freitas and still is ahead of Ramon Serra. He's got Innes, Blossom and Carrera up ahead that he needs to overtake to have a semblance of chance taking the GT3 Silver Championship. As it stands now, Angel Mora, who has a meatball flag, has slowed down to a crawl. And this is what happened to Angel Mora. That looks like that front left rim is not moving at all. Angel Mora, this is from a while ago. He didn't get the left front damage from this spin at all. So something has happened for Angel Mora. We're reversing back in the timeline to try to figure out what has happened to Mora. Yeah, okay, so the wheel was spinning there. Heading into the bus stop chicane. What has happened to Angel Mora? Jumping over the curb, which is fine. Entry. A little bit of the curb on the right-hand side. It looks fine so far. He's taking the bus stop. Oh, a bit of a takeoff at the second curb, and even more of a takeoff in the Ferrari, and the Ferrari sent spinning. And, well, that tire, that has damaged the car to a crawl just by jumping over those curves, it looks like. Look at this. Curb jump, and heavy damage to its floor at the very least, and, well, to a crawl. And Angel Mora, well, in the pit lanes, come out in last overall. Cannon needs to get a move on if he wants to try to get this championship away from Angel Mora, to have a chance at it at the very least. We're heading into 1/6 of this race being completed, and we've got Alvarez versus Mosby for GT3 Pro. And Okay, so I've been told by production that although Angel Mora finds herself in last place, at the moment, it doesn't change the championship at all. Can I ask, if Cannon manages to get the win in this position, would he get the championship? So I've been told if Cannon wins this race with Mora's current position in so far in this race, Cannon would take the championship win. So Cannon, currently 4th place in GTV Silver, needs to overtake Innis, Blossom, and Carrera to have a likelihood of a chance at winning this championship. He's got to get a move on, and it's about time. Cannon not being able to attend all of the races, but still in the championship fight, and he could take it here as well. Coos at the back of Mason, Silver versus Am. Oh, and a bit of a movement between the two Ferraris, but Ogas Coos does get ahead of Mason. Alvarez versus Mosby. The Mustang, from what Alvarez said last week's interview, Alvarez said that the Mustang around Daytona isn't the greatest car to have here. And, well, he's currently leading this race, but Matt Mosby is not far away in the mid-engined Corvette. The Mustang suffers in the road section in Daytona, practically, and, well, the Corvette's closing up immensely through there, but matching its speed in this slipstream. But the gap is going down to 0.2 of a second, with the Corvette closing up. The slipstream more effective the closer you are to the rear of the car in front of you. And heading out to the bus stop, Alvarez does get the better exit. 0.4 now, the gap between, and Menderes getting a slowdown penalty after cutting, and he's dropped back immensely to 2.4 seconds behind Mosby. But this is what the live points look like in GT3 Silver. Angel Mora, at this current position with John Cannon in 4th, would take the championship. Jaden Innes was staying 3rd with 102.5 points. As we look at Philip Ansel versus Menderes, Menderes having that mistake that caused him to drop back from the top 3 by about 3 seconds now. As Cannon is getting closer, Jaden Innes in the meanwhile as well for GT3 Silver, and Cannon looking to the inside for a start of a championship fight. He's up into 3rd place in GT3 Silver. Tiana Blossom 1.5 seconds ahead, and then 5 seconds further ahead of that is Carrera with the lead of this race in GT3 Silver. Massey also looking for the inside of Jaden Innes, and he's done that with relative ease. Mason having a black flag. That means that he's got a drive-through penalty that he needs to serve, and also a meatball flag, and Mason looks to have retired from this race in 16th place. He's done from this race entirely. Even with him retiring from this race, he is amateur champion anyway. So well done to Augusto Mason. He takes GT3 AM the championship because Daniel Cabral is not here. Now, Philip Ansel versus Menderes, between two teammates for the podium in GT3 Pro, and that is Rui Guerrero at the exit turn 1 and spinning out. And this is what happened to Rui Guerrero. He goes and brakes a bit deep, rear lock, and sends the car spinning, but doesn't make contact with a wall, continues on without too much time lost. Menderes versus Ansel. And Ansel is ahead of Mert Menderes. Ansel up into P3, 3 seconds ahead is Mosby and Alvarez. You can see them just now. So, Ansel even starting from the back of the grid practically, looking for a final stomp of authority for a potential win here. Matt Mosby still at the back of Alvarez has been chilling there for quite some time, you could start to believe that Matt Mosby is saving fuel behind the Mustang to try to conserve and take less fuel during the pit stop. That is a strategy that drivers like to do, and with it being a 1 hour race, you do have to pit at some point, and generally without any traffic, the overcut is the better call. Go as long as you possibly can and take less fuel in the pit stops as well. Lighter car is also a plus, adding on top of that. But Corvette catching up to the Mustang as we go onto the rear and also the front of the Mustang as well. So Menderes catching up to the back of Ansel. I don't imagine we're going to see a fight here, but I think we're going to start seeing a fight in GT3 Silver in between Cannon and Blossom as well. But meanwhile, look at this. Matt Mosby looking for a potential move into turn 1. The gap's down to under a tenth of a second, half a tenth of a second. Matt Mosby taking to the outside of the Mustang, and it's an offensive move for Matt Mosby, but it will be Alvarez who stays in the race lead. Cannon versus Blossom heading into turn 1. Blossom on the inside, Cannon on the outside. There looks to be, will Tiana Blossom have a move on the inside? No. John Cannon up into second place. He's getting ever so closer for a chance of the championship. Angel Mora is 1 minute behind Rui Guerrero. It's possible in the eyes of John Cannon to take this championship away. Angel Mora on his side will need to try to do something in these last 44 minutes, which is like it's not impossible for Angel Mora. He's just got to get his foot down and try to catch 1 minute to Rui Guerrero. Tiana Blossom a little bit wide at the exit, heading onto the banking. John Cannon with a more tighter line at the exit. And it looks to be that Massey might get close to overtaking Tiana Blossom. Heading into the bus stop chicane. Knights beckons. The headlights have been turned on, and Massey looking to the inside of the bus stop. No dice so far. But on the exit, will the McLaren get the BMW as we cut to Ansel versus Menderes into turn 1. A bit of a push from Menderes. He won't be going for the move. Massey versus Blossom at the banking too. And McLaren basically pushing the BMW along, pushing the BMW along. And Massey getting ahead of Tiana Blossom just about. Does Blossom fight this? No. Alvarez versus Mosby going down to 1.5 tenths of a second as well as we head into the second horseshoe. Mustang's going to feel lazy through these corners compared to the mid-engine Corvette. And Alvarez is just trying desperately to stay ahead of the Corvette at the very least. Middle of the racetrack heading into the banking. Two temps split between Alvarez and Mosby. The Corvette ever getting closer. It's two American cars in an American racetrack for the final round of the season, and Mosby taken to the outside. There's not enough space. Mosby backs out of it, but does catch Alvarez slightly offline through the chicane, but even still, Alvarez getting the better exit. Typically, the front engine cars have a better time over curbs than a mid-engine car would, and Alvarez showing that by him extending the gap between himself and Mosby after the chicane. But the McLarens trying to work with each other to catch up to Mosby and Alvarez with success. The gap's down to 1 second, and These two have got to realize at some point that they've got two blue and white McLarens working with each other to overtake both of them. Mosby is trying everything to figure out a move. It's practically pushing the Mustang along, telling it to hurry up. And, well, the gap now down between Mosby and Ansel is 7.5 tenths of a second, and the threat has arrived. Mosby to the inside, and the second horseshoe is contact, and then they both spin round. Mosby and Alvarez contact at the second horseshoe, and the lead is taken up by two McLarens, blue and white. Alvarez and Mosby both making contact. They knew that the McLarens were coming at them thick and fast. But a move for Mosby and Alvarez. Contact at the second horseshoe, and this is a replay of exactly what happened. Mosby cuts to the inside for a late move, and there was just about enough space, but Alvarez starts closing the door immediately, and that's going to go to the stewards, mayhaps. And, well, Corvette and Mustang, two American cars at the second horseshoe. Contact, and there you see the blue and white McLarens going past them without any trouble. Mosby and Alvarez are 4th and 3rd respectively as we watch Mazzi versus Cannon. Cannon's got 5.8 seconds to catch the Carrera. Do I have to tell you something, guys? Jordi Carrera is, I believe, Angel Mora's teammate. So, if Angel Mora wants to win, Jordi Carrera, his teammate, has got to take the load here and try to pull away and keep this win as best as he possibly can for the sake of Angel Mora. This is going down between Mora's teammate to take the win versus Cannon. Carrera, in terms of fastest lap, is 1/10 quicker. There you see Cannon now getting passed by Simone Mazzi. It's going to be close. But we do still have 38 minutes. We are not even halfway through this race, and pit stops can change everything as well. The gap is growing, however, between Carrera and Cannon. It's gone up to, I believe, about 6.5 seconds now, 6.6 seconds. So we'll see exactly what happens. Ansel Mendes 1 and 2 in the blue and white McLarens. And will they be working with each other from now on? The threat is has subsided a little bit. Ansel versus Mendes, will they continue to work together? Looks like it. They're pushing each other along, and I don't sense a move from Mendes into turn 1 unless team orders subside. Yeah, both McLarens pushing each other along. And they will continue on 1 and 2. Cannon's going to hope that Simone Mazzi has the pace to pull him along as Angel Mora woes even greater. He's slow, and he's made a mistake at the bus stop chicane. Rejoins the racetrack, but is now even further behind Rui Guerrero. Freitas comes into the pits for the first time in this race. It's interesting. How close is Cannon at this point to the championship, I wonder, if he is second? I do wonder. Yeah. I've been told that will be updated in small moments, but Logan Taylor looking to get past Blossom. 6th place in GT3 Pro, 9th overall. Tiana Blossom taking to the wide line, and that allows Logan Taylor to be on the inside. Slipstream for Logan Taylor. Flash of the headlights behind the only BMW out on track, and it looks like Logan Taylor will get the move done. This is what the championship looks like as it currently stands, with John Cannon in second place in GT3 Silver. Logan Taylor gets past Tiana Blossom. And Angel Mora in 7th place in GT3 Silver. It's 121 points for Angel Mora, 113.5 for John Cannon. Jaden Innes now out of the picture for the championship. It's between the top two. And if Cannon takes the win here, he would just chip ahead of Angel Mora. He's going to need it. And, well, the gap is 5.8 seconds between himself and Jordi Carrera. So John wins, I've been told. It goes to 124 points, 0.5 for Cannon. So that would be 3.5 points ahead of Angel Mora if Cannon wins. As of currently, he doesn't win the championship. So, yep. If he knows, if he's listening, you know what to do, John. You just need to go push to All Blighty. But yeah, this is Matt Mosby. We're looking at a replay of Matt Mosby heading, I believe, into turn 1. And it goes down the inside of one of the blue Ferraris and loses the rear in mid-corner and is lucky to go off semi-scot-free. And will continue on in 4th place, just ahead of Carrera. This is Carlos Freitas. Was the leader in GT3 AM before he pitted as he heads through the second horseshoe. The Mercedes understeer. Immense understeer. It's a common trait in the front engine GT3 cars. You wouldn't see the rear spinning like the Corvettes. You normally just get a whole boatload of understeer. As Blossom getting ahead of Taylor once again. Logan Taylor at the back of Tiana Blossom now. Taylor trying to close the gap to Tiana Blossom, closes up immensely with the concertina effect at the braking zone. And, well, Taylor is going to start feeling a little bit frustrated being behind, and as you can see, tries to send a move into the first horseshoe. There is enough space on the inside, just about. They go side by side, the exit of the first horseshoe. Going through the kink, will they stick side by side with each other? Will this work out? A bit of contact door to door, just a small amount, and Logan Taylor backs out of it to an inside move into the second horseshoe. Just about makes it past, and it will be side by side. It's tough battling out there between the BMW and McLaren. BMW breaks a whole lot later, but it's a wide exit, but it's still just ahead of the McLaren. Onto the banking now. Logan Taylor doesn't go into slipstream, thinks he's got enough speed to win out this drag race. Side slipstream now, and Logan Taylor does get the move ahead of Tiana Blossom. So, there you go. Logan Taylor up 1 position overall, still 6th place in GT3 Pro after starting in the pit lane by not making it to the grid. Right. We're looking at Joseph Kronk, who is our current leader in GT3 AM. Freitas came into the pits, so Kronk is now our de facto leader in GT3 AM. I mean, on the road. So let's see what happens when Joseph Kronk does decide to pit at some point. But as it currently stands, we're looking at Augusto Mason. He's gotten back out onto the track, and, well, because Daniel Cabral is not here, it means that Augusto Mason has won GT3 AM, as mentioned previously. Well done to Augusto Mason. It's now just a calm Friday drive to the end of this race. I'm trying to see if there is going to be a move for the race lead, but I think Ansel and Menderes are still working with each other to push each other along, and they still continue. They're 5.3 seconds ahead of Alvarez now, so it is working. And, well, this is what happens when you've got two teammates that have similar pace and like to work together, you get utter domination. And you see blue and white McLarens in the graphics after the race for every single time. So that's going to be, yeah, we'll see exactly. Matt must be now 10 seconds behind Alvarez as we look at Jaden Innes versus Kuz. This is for P4 in GT3 Silver. And Jaden Innes looking to get ahead of Kuz. The Turkey driver making his debut and going on with relatively fine for now. He's in the mid-pack in GT3 Silver and he's going to be fighting out with Jaden Innes, who himself P3 in GT3 Silver, trying to figure out any way he can get past the Ferrari. Braking into turn 1, the Ferrari still ahead of Jaden Innes. We cut to Tiana Blossom, 2.5 seconds behind Taylor now, and 1.7 seconds ahead of Kuz, although that gap is closing down lap after lap. So we might see a freeway battle, mayhaps, between GT3 Silver for its P3 for its final podium place. As Joseph Kronk comes into the pit lane, and that is all our GT3 AM drivers coming in at least once in this race. One mandatory stop between all of the drivers has to happen at some point, and for Joseph Kronk, it's happened in the 31st minute. John Cannon is now 4.7 seconds away from Carrera. So slowly getting closer with every single lap to catch up to the rear of the Ferrari. Yeah, 5.1 seconds now. But catching up is one thing, passing is another, and Carrera will definitely not make it easy considering it's his teammate who is the championship leader at the moment. Carrera in the race lead, 5 seconds ahead of Cannon, 8.8 seconds, and Cannon does make a pit stop. Cannon comes into the pits to serve his first pit stop, and he will be coming out. Where will he come out? Cannon now exiting out of the pits. Ansel and Menderes still well, back to front from each other. As Cannon now exits out of the pits in the MV Simsports colours. He will be in 5th place with is that one of the Ferraris in the familiar team colours just ahead? Is that Mora by any chance? I do wonder. Or is that Mazzy? This is the... Considering... Yeah, so Angel Mora is now just up the road versus Cannon. This could get interesting. The reason why we're taking such focus between this GT3 Silver fight is because it's the only championship that can be decided in this final race of the season between both Mora and Cannon. So it's going to be... This is why there's so much focus on it, practically. And Ansel and Menderes, even though they're close to each other, the Delta is getting close to each other on track. There's not going to be any moves between teammates, it looks like. They've been like that for the past 10 minutes or so. And... well, 35 seconds away from Innes. He's got about a cleaner to try to catch up a bit of time to Carrera. Carrera in free air as well, is he? Yeah, just about. He's got Matt Mosby ahead of him. So, looks to be going fine. Jordi Carrera just needs to run his own race out here, as Kuz is getting close to Blossom for P2 on the road in GT3 Silver. Jordi Carrera. The fuel tanks in these GT3 cars, they could go on for much longer. And I believe in the McLaren camp, in the top two, they will be continuing on into about the 40 minutes range. Unless Carrera wants to try to cut off any semblance of an undercut from Cannon's view. Yep, look at Ansel coming into the pits now. Ansel, first driver to come into the pits in GT3 Pro. Alvarez joins him. Mertz Menderes continues on in the race lead. And Menderes gets a slowdown penalty after going a little bit wide at turn 1. Freitas resumes lead in GT3 AM. Ahead of Kronk by 30 seconds. So Freitas looking very comfortable out here. Just looking around him and seeing if there's a fight. I do wonder who's that car behind. Ansel and Alvarez exiting out of the pits. And where will Ansel pop out? Will he come out in traffic? That's one of his teammates. And I believe in a different license class coming round turn 1. Koos also into the pits as well. And that teammate has gotten ahead of Ansel. That is Jaden Innes in the McLaren. Jaden Innes, P3 after Koos came into the pits. And Cannon getting past Koos. Will Jaden Innes stay ahead of Ansel? Yes, he is so far. As that is Kronk going deep into the first horseshoe. Mertz Menderes continues on for another lap. He's been in the back of Philip Ansel for quite a prolonged period of time, so he's had to lift and coast in order to not run to the back at some points behind Philip Ansel. Matt Mosby, second place on the road, will have to come into the pits at some point, and he is now. Car getting stopped in time. Simone Mazzi joins him in the pit lane as well. Alvarez, sixth place on the road, and he'll be ahead of Mosby. He was 10 seconds before the pit stops ahead of Mosby, so that's not too much of a loss. So we're getting a replay of Alberto Alvarez now. Oh dear, heading through the left-hand kink, and well, merging just about not having contact with Joseph Kronk in the Porsche. So close. How does that impact proceedings when Mosby, Taylor, and Alvarez come out of the pits? That's Mosby. Alvarez coming through turn 1. And Alvarez, does he lose out to Mosby? Mosby exiting out of the pit lane, disengaging the pit limiter. It's going to be a fight between the two cars heading out of the pits, and Alvarez just ahead, even with that mistake of Mosby. But Mosby with colder tyres, I don't think he's going to be able to go for the overtake. We'll see exactly what happens. It is night at the moment, so temperature is dropping in GT3. This is where Alvarez made his mistake. And Mosby to the inside, and it's going to be Alvarez side by side with Mosby heading out of the second horseshoe. And Alvarez and Mosby just about working with. No! No! Oh dear! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Alvarez and Mosby jostling with each other, jousting, and well, a fight at this specific sector as well. And it's incredibly... Oh, it's Mosby up ahead of Alvarez and even losing a place to Mazzi now. Mazzi's up into 4th. Menderes into the pits, and an incident that's going to be looked at by the stewards. Most definitely a bit of aggressive battling between Alberto Alvarez and Mosby. And this is a replay heading through the second horseshoe this time. No contact at the middle of the second horseshoe, but contact at the exit. Alvarez and Mosby were not giving each other any space. And, well, Alvarez worse off than Mosby. So during the pit cycle, Jordi Carrera gained 6 seconds. Oh, Cannon is dropping back quite a fair bit. What's that's not right. That's a glitch. He's not 47 seconds behind Carrera, so we're gonna wait until the intervals update properly. And it's okay. So we've got Carrera versus Mazzi now. Carrera gets out of the way of Mazzi. Yeah, Cannon has lost out quite a fair bit of time by pitting earlier. And he's not just got about 11 seconds to catch up. He's also got 2 GT3 pros ahead of him of Taylor and Alvarez. It's getting less likely the longer this race continues. Ansel versus Menderes in the lead. I wonder if they're actually going to fight this time, or will they continue pushing each other along between teammates? And it looks to be proceedings as normal. Menderes getting the push from Ansel instead. So roles switched for the last 20 minutes of this race. It's Menderes ahead of Ansel. .6 seconds between Carrera and Cannon. And Carrera doing everything with his power to give his teammate the best shot at the championship. And he is doing a fine job for now. But anything can happen in 18 minutes. So we'll see what happens between this championship fight. It's in GT3 Pro, Menderes ahead of Ansel, Mosby in 3rd, Mazzi in 4th, Alvarez in 5th, Taylor and Sarah round off your GT3 Pro lineup. Sarah 15 laps behind. I think Sarah must have... has he retired? Or is he still out there? Yeah, so Sarah has retired from this race. And then in GT3 AM, it is Freitas leading the line ahead of Kronk by 43 seconds. Mason a lap behind. So even with Mason in 3rd place, he would still win the championship with relative ease due to Daniel Cabral not being here. So Augusto Mason has turned up to the majority of the races and will take GT3 AM. Looking at Mazzi versus Carrera. Mazzi got ahead of Carrera, and now Carrera is trying to pull himself along at the back of this McLaren. It's a tactic, and it does work out. Out with each other's benefits usually. So as Mora gets a drive-through penalty. So Mora has done exceedingly well in this championship so far, but in this final round of the season it looks like he's doing everything in his power to not try to win. Mora is not having the best time out there, but he is leading GT3 Silver still. We've got about 16 minutes left in this race. Let's go through the running order in GT3 Silver. Oh, that's Joseph Kronk in the background making a mistake in the Porsche, and he's taken to the grass as well. And Kronk exiting out of the second horseshoe and losing the rear. Will rejoin the racetrack. There's no threat behind, so he stays in second place. This is from Mert Menderes' view, and they're both still working with each other. looking brilliantly well as teammates. And Ansel now pushing along Mertz Menderes. Mertz Menderes continued on for multiple laps when Philip Ansel came into the pits. And so with a slight overcut, Mertz Menderes ahead of his championship winning teammates. Mertz Menderes himself, don't forget, at the first round of the season, was taking part in a Porsche Cup at Le Mans and putting a stamp of authority because he kept overtaking GT3s in the Porsche Cup. If you're interested, have a look back at that live stream. Mertz Menderes in the Porsche Cup, being surrounded by GT3s at the start of the race, in 5th place overall. It was insanity. But that was 5 rounds ago. This is the 6th round of the season. And it's Mertz Menderes leading the line. Taylor Blossom, 3rd place in GT3 Silver right now, and he's 6, and they've 66.3 seconds at the back of John Cannon. Jaden Innes, 1.3 seconds, is looking to try to get a podium place. P3 in the GT3 Silver Championship, Jaden Innes being promoted from AM to Silver midway through the season. So he went into the season fighting for the AM Championship, got promoted, so he finds himself fighting for the Silver Championship instead, and he's done relatively well so far, turned up to, I believe, majority if not all the races, and done very well for himself. Starting as an AM, going up into Silver, and, well, he doesn't look out of place at all, so good work out there for Jaden Innes. Ogas Cruz, yes, the debutant. The Turkey driver, currently 5th place, 1.4 seconds at the back of Jaden Innes. And we'll be looking to complete this race with some decent points. And with 13 minutes left to go, it looks like a very likely possibility. Rory Guerrero always finds himself in the mid-pack overall in GT3 Silver. We haven't talked much about Rory Guerrero this entire season, but he has been very consistent in this championship, as he is currently, I'm just having a look, 5th place in the championship in GT3 Silver with 60 points. So, very consistent. Angel Mora, our current championship leader, still championship leader, with 112 points. 112 points, and well, consistency is key, and Angel Mora has done exactly that. And it's, as we cut to a fight between Menderes and Ansel, not a fight, I mean just very close to one another. We're looking at the fastest laps now, and well, the two cars that are in the 144s, and the only cars in the 144s are the two McLarens 1 and 2, 144.868 for Menderes, and Ansel with the fastest lap with 144.808. So 60 thousandths or 7 or 600ths of a second difference between these two McLaren drivers. Ogas Kuzin, the Turkey driver, slowly trying to make his way to the back of Jaden Innes. In terms of outright pace, Kuz has definitely got better out of the McLaren. Compared to the McLaren, I mean. And look at this, Kuz catching up immensely with the concertina effect. Jaden Innes slightly caught out here, and it's going to be a close battle heading into the first horseshoe. Does Kuz go for it down the inside? He does. Kuz to the inside, and gets up ahead and goes into 4th place overall in GT3 Silver. Ansel gets a slowdown penalty. And so he will go up into the high line to try to get rid of that slowdown. And, well, this is the first time that we've seen these McLarens have this much of a gap since the pit stops. 1.2 seconds. It's not a lot, but it's more than we've been seeing the top two in this race so far. Koos now looks up ahead to see Tiana Blossom. Koos for a late charge in this race to try to get himself as high as possible, trying to get a podium in his debut. As Koos closing ever so much, heading into the bus stop chicane. Blossom getting the better exit, however. And into the banking. The night ever gets darker. And the Ferrari with the slipstream. Catching, and catching even more. Heading into turn one. Koos, does he go for it? He takes to the racing line and will go and send it around the outside for a late move. Is it too late? Deep on the brakes. And Koos now under threat from Jaden Innes. Heading into the first horseshoe, Jaden Innes doesn't fight it. But it was definitely an audacious and experimental move from Ogars Koos. And, well, he will have another chance at it with 8.5 minutes remaining of this race. Koos trying to push himself along. Tiana Blossom not having slipstream ahead to punch the air, so at a disadvantage in terms of straight line speed. Onto the banking once again. This is the closest, bar the move around the outside, that Koos has been in the straights. And closing up. Tiana Blossom defending on the inside. The Ferrari on the outside, bit of jostling between the two cars. Blossom breaks later, slightly offline, but manages to get stopped in time and still is ahead at the exit. Now, Koos still has to look in his mirrors to see Jaden Innes, and Jaden Innes hoping that, well, something happens to both the cars in front of him. Heading into turn one. Gap going down to 0.2 of a second. Down to 1/10. Does Koos go for it? A flash of the headlights for the Ferrari, probably indicating that he's trying to go for a move somewhere. Koos into turn one. Goes and tries again around the outside, and it's braking way too late again, too much as well, and that promotes Jaden in this upper position. And Koos kept trying going for the move in turn one, but it just hasn't worked out both times. And the latter move impacting himself even heavier as Ansel getting ahead of Menderes. As Menderes is slow, something's happened to Menderes. He's dropping down tons of seconds. Menderes is stopped at the exit of the bus stop. Menderes into the bus stop chicane over the curbs, leading this race, mind you, and a snap of oversteer heading into the wall. And does he get... Okay, it's not as severe, but yeah, normally if you hit that wall the wrong way, that could have been a race ender. But yeah, a snap of oversteer. It's as simple as that, over the curb, and that promotes Ansel up into the race lead. Koos back to square one in the fight for the podium. He's behind Innes and Blossom now as they head through the chicane. Six minutes left to go. And Jaden Innes now will try to look ahead to get ahead Tiana Blossom. The BMW not as quick compared to the cars behind them through the banking, and Jaden Innes heading through turn one. Oh, that is Koos into 10th place overall and 4th place in GT3 Silver. Jaden Innes didn't fight it very hard, and Koos is back up into 4th place. We're looking at Matt Mosby. He's currently 3rd place and still in 3rd place in GT3 Pro. Mats Banderas in second place after having that mistake at that particular section. Mats Mosby in third, 18 seconds behind Mats Banderas. It's got Simone Mazzi behind with 3.2 seconds, 3.6 seconds, I mean. And Mazzi trying to catch up to Mosby in these final 5 minutes, but it's going to be hard to do that. As Koos and Blossom once again getting close. Again, the gap going down to 1/10 of a second as they head into the bus stop chicane. Blossom still ahead of Koos as they fight it out. Exiting out of the bus stop chicane now. Ferrari at the back of the BMW. Koos has tried to round the outside move at turn 1 2 times so far. Will third times be the charm? Does he go for the move on the outside or the inside? Will he try to force the move? He goes around, he goes and chooses the outside line. Blossom defends on the inside as expected, but Koos is now ahead of him. Oh, it's contact between the two cars. Koos tried to cover off Tiana Blossom, and well, that has ended in almost a fatality for Koos, and he drops down into, oh dear. Yeah, he continues on, but with missing a rear wing and a lack of downforce in that Ferrari is going to be a bit skittish, both at entry and exit. It's, well, for Koos, podium no more. As it stands at the moment, with 3 minutes remaining, plus 1 lap, Angel Mora will take the championship ahead of John Cannon if it stays how it is. 121 points versus Cannon's 113.5. Jaden Innes with 94.5, not a championship, well, was a championship contender, but would have to hope that Cannon and Mora would have problems. Jordi Carrera does his job to find style. Fought for his teammates, and he's doing so with great success. Is now 12.3 seconds ahead of Cannon. Carrera, great pace himself in 6th place in the championship. So this season hasn't been the best for Jordi Carrera, but when it matters, he's got it. I believe Carrera was also fighting out in Detroit with a win in the first round, but then had an incident in the second race. As we look at Innes versus Blossom, Innes taken to the outside, and we'll be looking to try to take the podium place away from Tiana Blossom. Tiana Blossom on the inside and stays ahead. Innes, if there was ever a chance to go for an overtake, it would be now. Oh, and that is Carlos Freitas, the GT3 AM race leader, with a slowdown penalty as well to boot, but he is 1 minute and 19 seconds ahead of Joseph Kronk, so no threat of that lead being lost whatsoever. And so leading in GT3 Pro, 10 seconds ahead of Mertz Menderes. Ansel has been, throughout this season, probably undoubtedly the most prolific driver out here, winning out in, I believe it is now, literally, I don't know how many races we've had in total, but he's won in 5 out of the 6 rounds so far. 6 out of 6, actually no, 4 out of the 5 rounds, because Ansel didn't turn up last week. He would win every single week, bar last week. And Ansel was doing that exactly once again. In times where there was a double round, such as Hockenheim, Menderes, I believe, won a race there as well. Road America, I believe. Yeah, that was close too. But for Ansel, as he heads towards the banking, we look to Jaden Innes versus Tiana Blossom heading into the first corner on the last lap as well. Tiana Blossom on the inside, Jaden Innes on the outside, and well, Jaden Innes is too quick on the banking to make it hard for himself versus the BMW, and Jaden Innes up into the podium place in GT3 Silver, but cutting back to Philip Ansel. It's been a brilliant season and also a brilliant race for him, starting towards the back of the grid, right about 14th and 15th place on the grid starting it. Gained up about 10 places at the start of lap 1, end up in the top 5 at the end of lap 1, and ever since then climbing back up. Philip Ansel will cross the start-finish line to win in Daytona after 60 minutes. Well done to Philip Ansel. The 48 car in the blue and white wins it out here around the historic Floridian racetrack, as we look to Menderes go and finish in second place. A fair season for Mertz Menderes, as we look to Rui Guerrero. Matt Mosby finishes in third at the final round of the season, as we look to Mazzy crossing the line in fourth, Alvarez in fifth, Carrera and Logan Taylor going side by side across the line, and 21,000 split between both drivers across the line. Taylor just getting ahead of Carrera, but that won't matter in terms of the GT3 Silver fight. Cannon finishes in second, 11.9 seconds behind Carrera. Jaden Innes will finish on the podium, as well done to Jaden Innes getting her tail blossom at the final lap of this race. And as you can see, donuts being done by everyone here. And the 48 car, Philip Ansel, he already was champion at the end of last round, but he satisfies his stand even more. Philip Ansel is our GT3 Pro champion for GT Sprint Series Europe. Well done to Philip Ansel. The Swedish driver in the blue and white has been utterly consistent this entire championship. And also Augusto Mason, GT3 AM champion for GT Sprint Series Europe. Daniel Cabral didn't turn up, so it was almost certified. But well done to Augusto Mason, though, for turning up for the majority of the round to take the GT3 AM championship. And last but not least, it is Angel Mora, our silver champion in GT Sprint Series Europe, the only championship that was contending here at the final round of the season. Gets just ahead of John Cannon. Made it hard for himself, didn't make it easy, but faith on his teammate Jordi Carrera taking the win here has put himself as GT3 Silver champion. And these are our race results. Philip Ansel winning out, Mertz Menderes in second, Matt Mosby in third, rounds off the podium. Simone Mazzi in fourth, Alberto Alvarez in fifth after many battles out there with Matt Mosby. Logan Taylor finishing sixth after starting in the pit lane. Jordi Carrera wins in GT3 Silver. Well done to Jordi Carrera, ahead of John Cannon. Jaden Innes rounds off the podium. Tiana Blossom fourth and top 10 overall. Below the top 10, it is August Kuz, Rui Guerrero, Carlos Freitas winning out in GT3 AM. Joseph Kronk in second place in GT3 AM. Angel Mora finishes 7th and 15th overall in GT3 Silver. Augusto Mason and Ramon Serra didn't finish the race. So we're looking to get a couple, I believe, all three champions in our interview pen right now. So that would be Philip Ansel, Angel Mora, Augusto Mason. Yeah, let's start with Philip Ansel here. Philip Ansel, welcome to the interview pen. And well, you didn't make it easy for yourself after qualifying, started at the back of the grid, but then gaining up several places after a hectic lap 1, and then working with your teammates towards the end of the race to win in the final round of the season.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought that the oval looked quite spicy, so I needed a bit of practice in qualifying. Unfortunately, there was no situation where I could use it in the race, but um, I mean, nah. I mean, jokes aside, though, no, I wanted to give myself a little bit of a challenge. Daytona is obviously one of those tracks where if the drivers ahead play it smartly, they will pull away like Matt, Mert, and Alberto did initially. I thought. I mean, it was quite
Yep.
hard to catch them, and at one stage I was like, I mean, it's going to be really tight if they actually work together. But no, in the end, it went my way. Mert got a slow down, then we worked together for a bit, and then yeah, no, the front two decided to fight a bit. So at that stage, it was basically certain that we would catch, and from there on, just working together, like you said,
Mm.
trying to save fuel a little bit. I was actually a lap over at the end, but oh well, happens. And then after that, tried making a bit fun with having a bit of fun with Mud. I was going to wait until the last lap, but he decided to fault under the pressure and bin the car into the wall. But no, it was great fun this evening, and obviously a big thank you to the guys that organised this championship because it's been a blast for me anyway. So it's been really fun.
Yes, you are GT3 Pro champion. You knew that before coming into this race as well, but you are also SimSwag Cup champion, taking two championship titles here. What does it mean for you taking both the champion in GT3 Pro and also SimSwag Cup and getting the prizes?
Well, yeah, no, obviously it means a lot, obviously, to win something. Usually, when I race, I'm not the guy that usually wins because there's always someone that's a little bit quicker than me. But obviously, it feels good to come away here with obviously two titles and nah, I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, I wished in one sense that Stephen would have hung around for a little bit because we had some good racing and
Yeah.
obviously hope to race him some point again because he was really quick as well. So and obviously there was a lot of quick drivers in this championship that you can't really look on just their I rating. I mean, big shout out to obviously Nicholas Zint, who unfortunately was not here this evening, and obviously to Alberto, Taylor, Logan, and Matt that made it, quite exciting this evening as well.
Yes, and of course, final words from you, the champion. The stage is yours. Is there anybody that you would like to shout out in the virtual grandstands to MV Simsports and its partners, and also if anyone from your side of the team that you would like to shout out?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously the Mert, Jaden, and Josh who cannot be here because for some reason Josh focused on his girlfriend instead of racing this evening. So little less to him, but obviously to Mert and Jaden for working with me in this championship, and obviously to the entire Cuda Motorsport team. And last one, obviously, is Marconi Setup Shop that provided us with the setups for this evening.
Thank you very much. That was our GT3 Pro champion and also SimSwag Cup champion, Philip Ansel. And well done to him for taking two titles in this season, winning out for the majority of the races as well. You can't say it's deserved. But we also have our GT3 AM champion, Augusto. Welcome to the interview pen.
Thank
And
you,
it's
J
what?
Reese. Oh, sorry, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, sorry.
No, you're
It was the
fine. No, you're
presentation.
fine.
Sorry.
You're good. Honestly, you're fine because, I mean, it's utterly deserved. You turned up to majority of the rounds, taking wins here and there. It was a fight between teammates. Unfortunately, Daniel Cabral couldn't be here today, of course. But talk me through your season as a whole.
Poof, my season was I don't know how to describe my season. In round three, I went to Jaden in the track, and it was touching the sky. But the rest of the season, it was a fighting with my teammate Daniel Cabral for the points, and we were talking. Oh no, keep you the victory, or Augusto keep you for the championship. We will do the 1-2, and yeah, really trying to make the 1-2 to the championship and go to demonstrate the South American power. But in some rounds, like today, it's a race to forget, Javis. In the 20 minutes of the race, I crashed out in the box in the pit wall,
Mhm.
and I lost everything in turn one. Carlos is in front of me, and I was thinking this is lost, but I won the championship in this way.
Yes, of course, you do take that trophy as well in GT3 AM. And what does it mean by just taking the title here today, winning it out? Talk me through how you're feeling.
Wow, this is my first championship I won. It's everything. I don't know. I already got 6 years in a racing, and this is my first championship. Then my first championship win. Both things. And really, I appreciate so much Jervis, Pixteca, everything in the league, Alberto, Josh, I don't know, all the admins who make this league, and my teammate, obviously, Daniel Cabral, who we're fighting along the season. And thank you. From I want to thanks. Sorry for my English first. To Jaden Innis, he helped me to improve in my season,
Mhm.
in my driving style.
Yeah.
I'm gonna salute him. He was two in the silver cup. Sorry.
Yes, indeed. And is there any words, because the stage is yours now. I was about to say, who would you like to say shout out to the people in the virtual grandstands, to your to every Simsports Sense partners, and also to and also to your teammates and your team yourself. You can also say it in your native language as well if you'd like.
Okay. Thank you. Half in English, half in Spanish, if you want.
Do what you want.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, both of you, for the transmissions, for everything, to show up the leagues to the people, and thank you to the admins, to let me in the league, and yeah, that's everything. But in my language, if I can say some words. Vamos LBS, carajo, vamos Augusto, vamos mis compañeros, ganamos los argentinos, carajo, la categoría M. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you very much, Augusta Mason, GTAM champion here at GT Sprint Series Europe. Thank you very much for joining us in the interview, Pen.
Thank you to you.
And finally, we couldn't be able to get Angel Mora, so we got John Cannon in the booth here today. Hello, John.
Oh, good evening, guys, or
Yeah.
afternoon, or whatever time it is for everyone around the world.
Indeed. You were quite a ways away from second to first in the champion, but you found yourself in a position where you could take that championship win if you won the race where Angel Mora was on the track. Did you know that you needed to win? That if you did win, you would have been champion in GT3 Silver, and you
Yes,
knew
I
the
did
stakes
know
were.
that because I was, thinking like all I need to do is win, and he needs to finish somewhere way behind me, and I'd take it. But in any case, good job, Angel or Angle, however you pronounce your name. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher it because I'm an American, and that's what I apparently do. But anyway, congratulations on the win, and also congratulations on everyone else that finished on the podium, and even the people that raced with us. Good job, everyone.
Indeed. I mean, you found yourself in the championship fight despite not attending all the rounds of it, just due to, circumstances, of course.
Mhm.
But did you expect coming into the season that you would be fighting for a semblance of a championship, regardless of you missing rounds or not?
No, I had no idea I was even going to be even close to it because I like you said, because of circumstances such as work and stuff like that. I figured that I'm never going to be a competitor, anywhere near the top 3 or anything of that nature. So this is a total shock to me.
And of course, is there anybody that you would like to shout out to the people of the virtual grandstands, to MV Simsports and its partners, and from your team as well?
Thanks to, of course, Triple Stint, great gloves. Shout out to SimSwag, amazing socks. They help keep your feet on the pedals. Triple Stint gloves, they help you keep out of the wall. Or, I think it might be intentional if you run into the wall, because with those gloves, you never make a mistake. Thanks to Rogue Energy. Thanks to everyone in NV Simsports. Thank you guys to watching. Thank you guys for broadcasting. Thanks to everyone behind the entire scene. It's not just me, but Terrell, Albie, Devin, and everyone involved. And of course, I would just want to shout out to all the viewers and stuff like that. If you guys are thinking about getting into sim racing or anything of that nature, or heck, you just want to race with us and see how big of a difference we are, come race with us. We race pretty much every Friday night, especially when we have actual championships going on. So just come out and race, have fun, talk with us. It'll be a blast for you. Or who knows, it might be the worst thing you've ever experienced. I don't know. I can't make that determination.
Since you are here, John, and you are here in the live stream right now, is there any hints that you can give us about future championships here at MV Simsports?
All I can say is there's going to be one coming up here very soon. Roughly a month and a half from now, we'll be doing another European series, another American series, possibly an endurance series on another day, or one-off endurance events, but we'll basically be tied into a series. And then coming up at the end of the year, I don't want to disclose too much about it because it's still kind of contested on which track we're going to be doing, but we are going to be doing something pretty big at the end of the year. So keep an eye out on SimGrid. And of course, check us out, check out their website. It might be there, it might not, I don't know. It depends on if AI wants to help me, create something where I can actually show that. But definitely keep your eye on SimGrid, because there are a lot of events coming up, especially next year. We have a ton of stuff planned, and I'm not going to disclose any of that because I don't want anyone, to be like, oh my God, that's a great event. That's a great idea. I'm going to steal it. So.
And also, John, are you attending GT Sprint Americas as well from your side?
Yes, I'll be here later on tonight. I'll have to go and ice my knee for some reason. It's hurting. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe I tweaked it at work, but in any case, I have to go, throw some ice on it and, be ready for the next round of Daytona again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much, John. Coming to the interview pen, P2 in the championship at the end of the season, and we'll be looking to go into GT Sprint Americas to try to get a good position there as well. But that is it from our side of the broadcasting booth. Daytona, the season as a whole, GT Sprint Series is over. 3 champions are crowned. Well done to Philip Ansel, Angel Mora, and Augusto Mason for the wins in the 6-round championship. And while GT Sprint Series Europe is over, and of course, every Simsports GT Sprint Series is brought to you by SimSwag Technologies, Triple Stint, Coach Dave Academy, SimGrid, and Heaven's Truly Hut and Rogue Energy. If you're looking for high quality gloves for questionable quality sim racers, go to triplestint.com and look at those gloves, the apparel as well. And if you're looking for both a sim racing pedal set and also a socks to go alongside that, go to SimSwag Technology, simswagtech.com. And from our side, my name's been Jarvis Cork. I've been your commentator this entire season. The man pushing the buttons for the entire season has been Julian Marquez. His work is underrated. He deserves all the love and support as the main the main person that turns the cogs here at HyPrix Studios. Eitan Benezra is our executive producer. But don't go anywhere. A few hours from now, we've got GT Sprint Americas for the final send-off for us. We've had an amazing championship that we've been lucky to broadcast to all of you all. So thank you very much for watching the streams, liking the stream, supporting us, subscribing to HyPrix Studios. It's been absolutely amazing. We'll see you all 2 hours from now for GT Sprint Americas. Have a good night.